Hello, everyone. This is your girl, Michelle, with Girls Talk Real Talk. Because when girls talk, just about anything can happen. Today, we're actually going to be talking about dealing with anxiety and stress during the COVID-19. So, I've got my friend Shar'ron here with me today, who is Girls Talk Real Talk's resident therapist. I think I call her for everything that you talked about was the importance of journaling, being able to write out how you are feeling, what's going on in your life, how you're feeling about what's going on in your life right now.
Absolutely.
Being able to get that out of your head and your heart and getting it on paper so that it will not create an avenue for you to act out or for you to feel stressed out. And
Yeah.
then the second one that you talked about is to do some type of activity,
Just
something
kind
that
of
is
distract
going to
yourself.
distract you. Right. Go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I'd even throw even before that, um, if you haven't established yourself some routines, because the activities can be a part of that. But if you haven't established yourself some routines to do that, make sure that okay, I know that when I get up in the morning, I'm going to do my praise and worship. I'm going to read my word. I'm going to exercise. I'm going to have some tea, some breakfast. I know I'm going to work during these hours. I know that I'm going to write during these hours. I'm going to probably take myself a nap. So some kind of way to have some routine, because when kind of the floor has been ripped from under you and you don't have any routine, sometimes that can be devastating. It's what am I supposed to do? I have no sense of normalcy, so now I have to create myself a new normal. So I would say get yourself some routines. You know that I'm going to get up, I'm going to get a shower. Some people, it's very difficult to even do that part. Put some clothes on. I know that, we're getting comfortable and we're leaving on our PJs all day. Some of those days we need to put some clothes on. Get up, get yourself bathed and all those things. Do your hair, if you should decide to throw some makeup on, whatever it may be, so that, okay, I'm ready for the day. But if I allow myself just to kind of, stay in that natural state, and then I'm laying around, sometimes that can take on just a whole situation within itself. Now my mindset, but no, I'm going to get up, I'm going to get dressed, and I'm going to engage in the day. It doesn't have to be the most productive day. Look at those expectations. I may not be winning at the world today, but at least I'm going to show up. I need to show up and be prepared to be within that day.
Okay, now that brings a point that I want to make sure that I throw in here, because when you're talking about showing up for that particular day, a lot of times we need to affirm ourselves in the midst of it, because how we show up dictates how our day is going to go. So if I know that I'm already in a bad space, that I'm now, I'm not saying this because I rather enjoy working from home. I'm okay with working from home, but I know some people don't. And if you're one of those individuals and it's just a chore for you to get up, it's a chore for you to go through what you need to go through to start your day, to do your day and complete your day, then start with your affirmations. Start off telling yourself out loud what type of day you're going to have. Today is going to be a good day. Today, I am going to accomplish all the goals that I have set for myself. Today, I am going to be happy with the person that I am and the woman or the man that's looking back at me in the mirror. Affirm yourself. Give yourself a pep talk, so to speak, to really set the tone for what your day is going to look like. Because I know, even for myself, if I wake up in a bad mood, then for the rest of the day, that's pretty much how my day is going to go, unless I do something to change it. And I think the next thing you talked about was music.
Yeah.
Being able to play the music, and not music that is going to take you down, but music that is going to uplift you. And I listen to R&B, I listen to classical, I listen to jazz, and I listen to gospel. And I can tell you, there are certain days when it's a Jonathan McReynolds day. And then there's other days when it's a Jill Scott day. So understanding what your moods are And to lift you up, if you're feeling low, play music that is going to help lift you up, even if it means it gets you out of the chair, up off the couch, moving around, dancing, doing that type of thing. The extra movement will begin to get those endorphins moving, and it'll start making you feel better about yourself. Now, this is a trick that I learned probably about 20 years ago that I didn't believe worked until I did it. And I was instructed by a counselor back then that whenever I felt like I was in a bad mood or things weren't going the way that I wanted them to go, to smile. Just start smiling for no reason. And even that, look in the mirror while you're smiling, because you're going to laugh at yourself, number one, because you're looking goofy. But number two, what it does is it kicks off those endorphins within your brain to start making you feel better about what's going on in your life. And so it changes your mood. And I want to say the fourth thing you talked about was your attitude.
Oh, absolutely.
And how our attitude determines the direction that we go in. Why don't you speak a little bit on the importance of the attitude?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So in regards to the attitude, if I'm thinking that it's going to be a bad day, like you said, it's going to be a bad day. If I'm thinking that this situation is the worst ever and I'm not going to get out of it intact, my life is going to be ruined, then it's going to be a bad situation. But if I'm thinking that even within this, there's some great opportunities, then I'm going to be looking for those opportunities. So it's about perspective and listen to your self-talk. Listen to those thoughts that are going through your head. If I'm thinking that I'm a failure and all I'm doing is messing up, and so I'm beating myself down, then I'm going to be feeling bad about myself. But if I'm looking in terms of, hey, you're doing the best you can, and you're actually rocking in some ways, you're getting up and you're doing what you need to do, even if it's just as simple as feeding yourself and bathing yourself on some days, then you did well. So perspective. It's all about the perspective and catching those negative thoughts, because if you allow them to just, become where I'm ruminating, then it's going to be an issue. But I need to catch those negative thoughts and put a different spin on it. Look at it in a different way. And so even if you mess up, I'm one that I extend myself a lot of grace. I mean, I really do.
I do too.
Girl, yeah, you did kind of mess up, girl, but that's all right. You'll get it. You'll do better next time. I extend myself a lot of grace, but then it also allows me to extend grace to others, because I'm going to be a better friend to myself than I'm going to be to anybody. Me and God, we're going to have a great one, but I want to be a better friend to myself to someone else. So I want to speak to myself as I would a friend. I'm not going to tear myself down. I'm just not going to do that. And even if you mess up, don't shame yourself. Now I can get on myself about something so that I can do something different, but I'm not going to talk to myself in unhealthy ways, and then I'm not going to let anybody else do it either. So I'm going to set that boundary within myself, and then I'm going to set it within my relationships as well. So yeah, mindset, perspective, what we're thinking about, absolutely. We need to take all those thoughts captive. Absolutely.
Okay, and then the last thing that we talked about was community, our value system that involves community, and how those values will speak to whether you are going to abide by what the rules of the pandemic have been outlined as, or whether you're going to step out and do something that not only could possibly harm yourself, someone else, or a loved one unintentionally. And I think about the young lady that lost her life last night, just in the car with her mother, driving down the street, wasn't involved in anything, and a stray bullet ends her life because people were out there shooting and they were being irresponsible in their actions. But you think about the life of the individual that actually pulled the trigger, and how that is going to manifest in their heart and in their mind going forward. I was just out having fun with some friends. I just shot a gun up in the air or what have you, but they come back down and they end up somewhere. So I think our value system and our sense of community, now there's two different ways we can look at the community. I know my daughter, when I was talking to her yesterday, she was telling me that her and her group of friends were going to be on a Zoom call, and they were having a girls' night out on Zoom. So they had their wine or their sparkling cider and their fruit and whatever, and they got on and they talked about what they were going through, what was new in their lives, catching everybody up. And or then there's the opposite side of it where you go out and you become a part of these mob like mentality groups, and you're not following the rules of the day or the information that has been given to you. And so we have to choose which one of them is a part of our moral fabric, which one of them speaks to our value system, because nobody intended for that young lady to lose her life last night. But had those 100 or so people not been where they were, she wouldn't have lost her life. And so we have to think about that. And it goes back to a statement that I said before. Yes, we are our brother and our sister's keepers, because our actions have consequences, and how we show up and how we interact with our community speaks to how we see ourselves and what our values are. And so I think that, with everything that's going on, yeah, it's difficult. I get it. It's hard, but I live by myself. So there ain't nobody else in the house for me to interact with. I talk to people on the phone. I do my Zooms and I do that type of thing. Even in my family, the way that we are showing up as a community to keep up with what's going on with everyone is weekly. We have a family chat. We do it teleconference every other week, and then the other weeks we do a video where we can actually see each other to catch up on what's going on with each other and what's happening. So how we show up is so very, very important in regards to our community, because we don't want nobody to lose their life just because they decided to show up where we were.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Also, I'm thinking in terms of the people who may not necessarily believe that they truly belong to the community, or have the family in those ways. So I would say that if this is something that I don't feel that I have and I'm a part of, then it may not be blood. I may have to find some people who aren't necessarily blood that can pour into me into some ways that can be helpful, and that I can be a part of something different. Some people don't have it. Excuse me.
I think it is important that you find that way to connect, because I saw on a commercial on TV where they were talking about just because we have to do social distancing does not mean that we have to distance socially. And so you have all of these opportunities, these tools to be able to connect. So even if you don't have that family structure that I was just speaking of that we have in my family, then there are different groups out there. I know NA, those that have addictions in their lives, they are doing their meetings via online. I know that a lot of the support groups that are out there are doing their meetings online to where you can show up. I mean, and even that, take responsibility to start one. Start one yourself. You've got friends.
Oh, you said be a leader.
That's right. Start one yourself. And give yourself permission, because somebody had to make the decision. Even within the group that my daughter is in, they had to make the decision that I'm going to offer this to the group. Let us do this. You know what I'm saying? I'm in a Bible study that I do Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 7:30 in the morning. And we get on, we do our Bible study, and we catch up on what's going on in each other's lives, because that connection is necessary. I don't know if I'd be doing as well if I didn't have those connections going on in my life. If I did not show up in those different community type environments, I can't honestly say that I would be doing as well as I am. And by trade, me being an author, I isolate myself a lot because I'm writing. And I'm literally in the midst of writing my 4th book now. And so it requires me to step away, you know, to focus, to be able to put my energies into what it is that I'm doing. And sometimes isolation is a good thing, sometimes isolation is a bad thing. It just depends on how you are utilizing it and how you see it.
Absolutely. That's why it's important to check in with yourself. Absolutely. All right. This may be a time that I'm needing to reach out. No, this is a time that I'm needing to reach in. So, absolutely.
I think that those are 6 very important tools. Our last one was to check in with yourself. Identify where you are. Be honest about where you are. You don't have to tell nobody else, but be honest about where you are to yourself, because that
That's
is
right.
going to make a difference to your own emotional and mental health. Because
Absolutely.
if you are experiencing depression now, think back. You probably have been on this journey for a little while, and it's just now really had the opportunity to present itself. Get the help that you need. We will make sure that we are putting in our comments and in our updates places that you can go. Now, I do know that the FSSA in Indiana has a website that gives free counseling to anyone that wants to go. If you go on the fssa.gov, I think it is, website, you'll find the link and be able to go in there and get those services. There are a lot of different places that are offering the free services for counseling because they know this is difficult, okay? Once again,
Absolutely.
I'm going to say this again. We do not have a playbook. We have not been here and we have not done this. And in all actuality, in the information that has come out to me, people are thinking that May 15th we're done. No. We have at least another 12 to 15 months of going through this before they can say that we have successfully navigated this virus and we're on the other side of it. And that's what the scientists and the medical community is saying.
You say, so buckle down.
Buckle down. You know, we are looking at, yeah, this may lighten up some. But when we go back into cold weather come October, November, it's going to hit harder because it's had time to sit dormant, to find a new way to attack. And it now has antibodies built up in it to be resistant to the stuff that they thought was working now. And you have to think about that. Viruses are living organisms. The key to it is that they are living. And just like our bodies become used to the things that we introduce to it, the virus is a living organism and it becomes used to the things that are introduced to it. And a lot of times it makes it resistant to a lot of things. And one of the things right now it's resistant to is antibiotics. Antibiotics don't touch it. So, you know, take care of yourselves. Be wise. Be smart. Your mental and emotional health is just as important as your physical health.
Yeah,
If we have doctors that are out here committing suicide because they can't handle what it is that they're seeing on a daily basis, it shows you that your emotional and mental health is just as important as your physical health. What were you going to say, Shar'ron?
I would say even more important because if that mental and emotional, if it's not taken care of, it's going to impact you physically.
Yes.
So you can have some, you know, physical health things, and they can impact you mentally. But for sure, if my mental and emotional isn't what it needs to be, it's going to impact me physically. So absolutely, take care of my mental and emotional, make that a priority.
So I thank you so much, Shar'ron, for coming on and jumping on with me.
Absolutely, we'll have to come back because I got more tips.
Okay, what we'll do is let's look at coming back again towards the end of the week and do some more tips. So we hope that the 6 tips and tools that we provided today will help you navigate But make sure that you check back in with us on our next episode dealing with the anxiety and stress of the pandemic, and figure out what works best for you. Everything is not going to work for everybody. You have to figure out what works best for you and then put it into action. Because guess who's responsible for your mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual health? That would be you. So take the bull by the horns, take care of yourself, and as you take care of yourself, you inadvertently are taking care of the people around you. So you all be blessed, and we'll be sure to see you next time on Girls Talk Real Talk, because when girls talk, just about anything can happen. Take care. Bye-bye. Thank you for listening in on another episode of Girls Talk Real Talk. Be sure to follow us on all of the approved podcast platforms and to like our Girls Talk YouTube channel. This is Michelle signing off and wishing each of you a prosperous and joyous life. Thanks again for listening, and we look forward to seeing you again. Bye bye.